Hi, fourth graders. Today we are going to continue on in our theme review week. And so we are wrapping up our theme, That's Amazing, by reading two more amazing stories. Yesterday we read the story, The Borrowers, about the little people who lived underneath the floor in a house. And today we're going to read a story called The Lord of the Fleas. This story is found on page 382G in your hardcover reading book. This is a nonfiction story, okay? So this means that this story is real and that this really happens and these things really do happen over in another country. So let's read Lord of the Fleas. Before we read, we need to go over our vocabulary. So today you're going to have a worksheet with these vocabulary words on them. So we have the words delicate, which means easily broken or damaged. Magnificent means superb. A feat is a great accomplishment. Carousel is a merry-go-round. Catapult, to jump suddenly as if propelled by a slingshot. A harness is a set of straps an animal is attached to. Instincts are natural talents or abilities. And attraction, something that draws people to see it. So we are going to get started reading our story, Lord of the Fleas. Hans Mathis reaches for a hair-fine strand of copper wire and twists it into a braid until only a tiny loop is left at the end. Then he gets one of his artists. They are magnificent athletes. For them, it's no problem to kick balls more than 30 times heavier than themselves or to turn a carousel 20,000 times their weight. They are barely 2 millimeters long, the size of a grain of sand, a fraction of a gram of concentrated strength. They are fleas. Hans Mathis is their master. He is the last of his kind, the only remaining flea circus director in Europe. Mathis carefully holds a flea between his thumb and index finger, moving the little loop of wire over its head. Then he takes a fine needle and pokes the flea's first pair of legs through the loop. Now comes the most difficult part. Mathis squeezes the loop just a teeny tiny bit so the flea can't escape its harness. Too much pressure and the flea meets his maker. But Mathis has decades of experience and 9 out of 10 fleas survive being harnessed. Flea circuses were very common in medieval Europe, an attraction at just about every county fair. Everybody had fleas, and anybody able to handle them could create his own circus in a box. Mathis learned the art from his ancestors. The flea circus has been a family business for over 150 years. The Mathis family performed for a pope and a Russian czar. But times have changed, and these days the director of Europe's last flea circus works a day job as a janitor in a semiconductor factory in Nuremberg, Germany. The Flea Circus leaves its little box only 2 weeks a year to perform at Oktoberfest, a traditional festival held each October in Munich, Germany. Here's what the fleas can do: play soccer, pull carriages, turn carousels, juggle, and dance. How does Mathis get to perform their stunts? He uses the natural instincts of the fleas and their astounding athletic talents. Fleas normally hop around like popcorn, popping in a hot pan, because a good jump just might land them on their next victim. But for some tricks, Mathis needs the fleas to walk. So first he sorts his performers. You have to observe them very carefully, Mathis explains. They all like to jump, but some of them like to jump more than others. That's how you have to sort them. The natural jumpers become soccer players, since that's where their talents lie. Fleas can jump higher than 20 centimeters and farther than 35 centimeters, incredible distances compared to their size. Fleas are very strong. If they were the size of people, they would be able to jump right over a building. What's more, they are fast. A flea can catapult itself out of danger in less than 1,000th of a second. It can take off so quickly because its leg muscles have help. Fleas grow 2 tiny spheres made of rubbery protein just above their hind legs. When a flea jumps, it squeezes these little rubber balls with the muscle on its hind legs, then locks its legs with the hook-shaped part of its exoskeleton under its belly. Now the flea is like a crossbow, ready to fire. The hook is released and the insect shoots off with an acceleration of as much as 140 Gs, more than 20 times the acceleration of the space shuttle on liftoff. In the circus, the soccer fleas are held by their wire harness to a little styrofoam ball and placed in a brightly lit miniature soccer stadium. I'm using the flight instinct of the animal, says Mathis. They want to get away from the light. The fleas feel the ball under their feet, think it's the ground, and they try to jump, kicking the ball into a miniature soccer goal. As a treat, I put them into the dark after they score, explains the circus's director. It takes a lot more training to teach fleas not to jump and to turn them into the dedicated workhorses Mathis needs for his delicate carriages and carousels, most of which he inherited from his grandfather. In these tricks, fleas show off their muscles. A single flea moves a gold carriage weighing several grams or turns the 35-gram carousel. The equivalent feat for a person would be to pull 600 cars or 10 blue whales at once. If an animal jumped while pulling the carriage, the act would be ruined, so Mathis only trains fleas that don't like to jump very much for these tricks. I have a set of boxes for them. First, I put them into relatively tall boxes so they can jump around a little, and then the boxes gradually become flatter and flatter. In the end, they completely give up jumping. All the fleas in the flea circus are females because males would be too small and too weak for the stunts. Mathis prefers real human fleas because the kind that live on dogs and cats are too small. But where does he get them? Human fleas are practically extinct in Western Europe, but Mathis insists he knows where to find them. He once caught one of the little pests in a subway in Paris, although most are collected by friends elsewhere. I won't name the countries, he said, since I don't want to get in trouble with the people in charge of tourism there. And if you read the caption, you can see some of Mathis' flea carriages are more than 150 years old. In the foreground top are dancing fleas, dressed with tiny aluminum costumes. They look like twirling ballerinas when they move. I hope you enjoyed the story today, 4th graders. Have a great rest of your day.